Hi everyone, welcome to English for You. I'm Kat.
And I'm Elsie.
And today we are talking about bears.
熊啊,
Yeah,
Formosan bears, right?
That's right, Formosan black bears. They're Taiwan's national animal, right?
And did you know the mascot of Taipei City is also one of the bears?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm not sure if the mascot has a name, but I see it all over the place. It's very cute.
I think it's called Bravo Bear or something.
Bravo bear? That's really cute. I like the V shape on their chest.
Right,
and,
it's really
their
special.
big furry necks. I think they're real cute looking. But apparently they're in danger, aren't they?
Right. They have been listed as endangered animals for a long time.
Oh, that's too bad.
I
Is
think
it getting
since-
any better for them?
I think it's getting worse.
Oh, no. That's bad to hear. But, I mean, today we're not talking about, kind of the sad story of Formosan black bears. We're actually talking about a particular Formosan black bear who has kind of a happier ending, which I think is really nice. So, why don't we go ahead and learn about her story?
Reading. The Story of Moolas the Bear. One hot day in July, a farmer in Taidong County heard a lot of noise in the fields. Two dogs were chasing a tiny Formosan black bear cub. That was 3 years ago, and the cub has now grown strong enough to live on her own. After the cub was found, officials left her in a place where her mother could come back for her. Sadly, that never happened. Village leaders in the area decided to give the cub a name. She was named Moolas in honor of a local leader at a Bunan naming ceremony. The Taidong Forest District Office then trained her for 10 months so she'd be able to live on her own. In May 2020, they released her into the wild. She was given a GPS tracking collar in order to improve research about these endangered bears. When the forest office last checked on her, Moolas was doing well, so they removed the collar. She is the first Formosan black bear to be raised by humans and go on to successfully live alone in the wild.
All right, our article starts out today by saying, one hot day in July, a farmer in Taidong County heard a lot of noise in the fields. So this place where you heard a lot of noise is a field. This is our very first vocab word of the day. We're getting right into it. A field is a noun that is talking about an open area of land, usually flat land. It doesn't have trees, it doesn't have buildings. It's usually just grass or flowers or some kind of crops. In this case, a field is specifically an area of land for a special use. It's a farm field. So that means a lot of vegetables or fruits might be growing there. Now, it's not fruit trees. It's going to be ones that are low to the ground because, like we said, a field doesn't have trees in it. It's a big open area. So he heard a bunch of noise in his fields, probably among the vegetables he was growing. So the example sentence for this word could be, in these fields, we grow a lot of vegetables, including sweet potatoes, lettuce, and pumpkins.
Field 这个名词呢，代表田地或是牧场。那你可以在里面种菜，你可以在里面养动物。那在7月啊，炎热的一天，台东县的一位农夫听到了田地里面有很多噪音。So, Kat, if you had a field, what would you like to grow in it?
A bunch of wildflowers. I think that'd be really pretty and smell
野花。
nice probably. Maybe lavender.
薰衣草啊 I
Yeah.
love it.
All right. So, yeah, what was all this noise about? What is all this noise that this farmer heard in the field? It says, 2 dogs were chasing a tiny Formosan black bear cub. Oh, that's so sad. So 2 dogs were chasing a cub, and you can get a hint about this from the fact that 2 dogs were chasing it, but this was not a big adult bear. It was a cub. A cub is a baby bear, or a baby animal that eats meat. So in general, we'll call them cubs if they're baby bears, baby foxes, baby wolves, baby tigers. And I think the one exception to this is panda cubs. Pandas don't eat meat, but they look like bears, so we call their babies panda cubs. Yeah, and we have other types of baby animals too, like you might have a calf, which is a baby cow, a lamb, a baby sheep, a fawn, which is a baby deer, and a chick is a baby chicken.
OK， 所以我们这边看到的 cub cub， 它指的是熊啦、狮子啦，或是狼等等之类的幼兽。那其他的呢，像是牛的幼兽，刚刚 Kat 有讲到，小牛是 calf， 小羊 lamb， 小鹿就是 fawn， 然后小鸡是 chick， 它们都有自己专属的名字。那课文说啊，原来是2只狗正在追一只小的台湾黑熊。Have you seen these Formosan black bear cubs before?
I've never seen a cub. I've seen the adult ones that are in the Taipei Zoo.
Yes, and the cubs are really, really cute.
Yeah, I bet they are, because the adults are really cute too. All right, so apparently that was a while ago. The article says that was 3 years ago, and the cub has now grown strong enough to live on her own. Yay, that's good. So the dogs didn't get her. Probably she was saved by that farmer or some other people. But she is grown strong enough to live on her own. And when we say on her own or on one's own, it means independently. She can live alone. She doesn't need help from others. She can do something on her own means she can do it by herself.
On one's own 代表独立、单独的去完成某事，所以呢，我们看到的 live on one's own 那就是靠自己生活。那再给同学们一个例句哦，我们也可以说啊 ，The girl made the cake on her own， 代表她是靠自己的力量独自完成这个蛋糕的。那我们也可以说 The girl made the cake by herself。那课文说到呢，那其实是3年前的事情了。现在这只小熊已经茁壮到可以自己生活了。Good for it.
Yeah. So what happened after she was found by that farmer? It says, after the cub was found, officials left her in a place where her mother could come back for her. Yeah, that's the best thing to do when you find a baby wild animal. You don't take it home right away. You see if its mother wants to come back and get it, because mama knows best. But who left her there? It was officials. So official is usually an adjective that talks about something being like, oh, it's recognized by the government or by this company, that sort of thing. But an official is a noun for a person who is official, who has a position of authority and power in a company or an organization, or especially the government. So here they're talking about government officials. So they're a person who holds an office. In this case, it's probably environmental officials or maybe tribe leaders, because we are talking about like a tribe that kind of took her in and took care of her later in this article. So it could be leaders from that tribe. So anyway, an example sentence for official could be, the officials in charge of the country's schools want all students to speak English well by 2030.
Official 这边呢当名词用，代表官员。那如果是政府官员的话呢，我们可以说 government officials。那另外呢 official 也可以当作形容词来解释哦。我们解释为官方的，像是 an official website， 那就是一个官方网站。那另外有一个字跟 official 长得很像，它叫做 officer。officer 这个名词代表是警官，好，所以跟官员是不太一样的。那课文说到呢，小熊被发现之后啊，官员就把它留在一个他妈妈可以回来找他的地方。But is the mom for sure coming back?
Well, the article says she didn't, so it says sadly that never happened.
所以难过的是 sadly 那从来都没有发生，也就是说妈妈从头到尾都没有回来找她。Maybe something happened to the mom.
Yeah, or maybe they just got separated too far and mom couldn't find her again. I don't know. But that's really unfortunate, but at least the bear was saved, the baby bear. So it says in the article, village leaders in the area decided to give the cub a name.
在那地区的村长们呢，就决定要给小熊一个名字。
So what is her name? It says she was named Mulas in honor of a local leader at a Bunan naming ceremony. So yeah, in this area. I guess it is run by the Bunan tribe, who is the indigenous people of Taiwan. And so she was given an indigenous Bunan name in honor of a local leader. When we say in honor of somebody, it means paying respect to them or doing something that shows and recognizes their importance. So if she was named in honor of a local leader, probably she was named after that person and to show respect to them and, make sure that they know, like, oh, you are an important person to us, so we are naming this bear after you. And what is a local leader? Local is an adjective here that means relating to a certain area or happening in a certain area or a city or a town. So like if you say that we're going to a local restaurant, it's a restaurant that is in town. Or this is a local tradition. It means it's a tradition that only happens in this certain area, this certain city or something like that. So a local leader would be a leader in that area. So an example sentence could be, this kind of food is a local dish that people come from all over to taste. Yeah. And what did they name her after? Or what did they name her at, let's say? They named her after a leader. They did it at a naming ceremony. And a ceremony is like a formal kind of event that's part of a social occasion, or it could be a religious kind of thing. Like weddings are a kind of ceremony. Funerals are also a kind of ceremony, and so are things like bringing a baby into a church. Like that's a ceremony.
Okay, we have a lot to learn here. 刚刚先讲到的这个 local 形容词代表当地的、本地的，所以呢 a local leader 指的就是当地的领袖。那如果是当地的医院，你也可以用 local 来形容。A local hospital, a local library, 那就会是一个当地的图书馆。那我们还说啊 when you visit a country, you have to try their local food. 你要吃他们当地的食物。那再来，我们看到一个被动是被取名、被命名。Was named， 所以你会发现呢，这边的 name 当动词使用，然后呢，把它变成过去分词，意思是给点点点取名或是命名的意思。那再来还有 in honor of， 代表的就是为了向点点点表示敬意，或是为了纪念某人。那小熊啊，被取名为 Mulas， 为的要是纪念当地的一位领袖。And it was at a 布南 naming ceremony 是在一个布农族的命名仪式当中。仪式这个字呢，还可以当典礼来解释，像是 graduation ceremony 指的就是你的毕业典礼。
So basically the last sentence was saying that they named her Mulas after somebody who was a leader in the area. They did a whole ceremony for her. They basically said, hey, you are special to us, little bear, and we're going to give you a special name and take care of you, which I think is very sweet. All right, so the article going on with it says, the Taidong Forest District Office then trained her for 10 months so she'd be able to live on her own.
接着呢，台东林区管理处就训练这只小熊10个月，让它可以独自生活。那这边你看到的 she'd 代表的是 she would。
So probably what they would do is, do things that her mom would do to teach her how to be a grown-up bear. Maybe something like how to find food or how to climb trees, things like that. So they were teaching her how to be an adult. They probably weren't teaching her, human tricks like how to sit down or how to, dance.
Like training a dog?
Yeah, or like training a bear for a circus, which is something people used to do. So, yeah, they were probably showing her like, hey, this is how you be an adult. This is how you be a grown-up bear. So, yeah, they were making sure she'd be able to live in the wild and isn't going to have to live with humans her whole life. And then in May 2020, they released her into the wild. Yay! So to release means to allow somebody to leave some place that you're keeping them, like a cage or a prison or something like that. In this case, they were probably keeping her in like a sanctuary, some kind of special enclosure or cage, something like you'd see in a zoo, but not really at a zoo. So, yeah, to release somebody or to release an animal means to allow them to leave, to set them free. And an example sentence could be, the prisoner was released to go back home after spending 12 years in jail for his crime.
Release 这个动词呢，可以解释为释放、放出。那刚刚 Kat 提到的例句 ，The prisoner was released， 那代表犯人被放出来。The patient can be released too， 代表呢病人从医院出院。那再来呢 A new game, a new song, a new movie can all be released， 代表可以有新出的游戏、新出的歌曲或是新出的电影。那我们还可以释放一个人的压力，也就是 release one's stress。那课文提到呢2020年的5月，他们将它放回野外。
So are they just going to say, bye-bye, see you never? I don't think so.
Go live on your own.
Yeah, I mean, she can live on her own, but these bears are endangered, like we said. They probably want to make sure that she's going to be okay, right?
Yeah, so we need to protect them.
Yeah, exactly. So the article says that they did something to do that. She was given a GPS tracking collar in order to improve research about these endangered bears. That's a pretty good idea because she doesn't have to have a person follow her around. She can just, go wherever she wants wearing this collar. And a collar, when you think of a collar, usually you'll think of the top of your shirt, where the part that goes around your neck. But with animals, a collar is like kind of a band of leather or plastic or something like that you'll put around their neck. And often people will put these on their dogs and sometimes their cats. And usually the collar will have like a tag that has their name, maybe your phone number, so that if they get lost, people can call you. And in this case, the collar has a little tracker on it so they can see where she is. So an example sentence could be, we put a cute collar that has our dog's name on it around his neck.
Collar 指的就是呢套在动物脖子上面的颈圈或是项圈。Does your cat wear one?
They both have collars. I don't make them wear them very much because they're inside most of the time.
OK， 那这里呢我们还有 language in focus， 要讲的是 in order to 的用法。那首先呢我们要知道的是 in order to 加上原形动词代表的是为了，可以置于句首或是句中。那句型呢同学们注意哦，主词加动词加上 in order to 之后加上原形动词，或者是 in order to 开头加上第一个动词之后逗号接上主词再接上另外一个动词。所以呢我们刚刚课文里面说到的就是它被带上 GPS 追踪的项圈来改善这些濒临绝种动物的研究。我们也可以把 in order to 调到句首来，所以我们也可以说 in order to improve research about these endangered bears, she was given a GPS tracking collar. 那再给同学们一个例句哦。For example, you need to get a good grade on this test in order to pass this class. 为了通过这门课，你这门考试要取得好成绩。当然也可以说 in order to pass this class, you need to get a good grade on this test. 那另外当我们想要表达否定的时候，可以使用 in order not to 后面再加原形动词，所以非常简单，我们只要把否定字 not 放进去就好了，代表的就是为了不要或是以免某事发生。So for example, I walked softly across the room in order not to wake up the baby. 代表我悄悄地走过那间房间，以免吵醒小宝宝。或者是呢，我们可以说 in order not to forget about his job interview, Jack set several alarms on his phone. 为了不要忘记有工作面试， Jack 在手机上设了好几个闹钟。
Right. So, yeah, they did this tracking collar in order to improve research. So now we know what in order to means, but we need to know what improve means. So improve is a verb that means to make something better, especially to kind of, bring it up and, make it better. Very simple. To improve something. So an example sentence for improve, Hannah studied hard to improve her grades, and she got a 20% higher score on her last exam. And now what are they trying to improve? It's research. Research is careful study done by scientists to find and report new knowledge about something. Because they probably don't know very much about Formosan black bears, but they are trying to learn more. So they're trying to use this collar to learn more about these endangered animals. And endangered means that, something, a plant or an animal, is become very, not very many, and they could die out completely soon. So they need to make sure that these bears are protected and do some research about them.
OK, 我们刚刚先看到的 improve 这个动词呢，代表改善或是变得更好，也就是 get better. So 同学们可能会有个问题 How can I improve my English? 我要怎么样才可以让我的英文进步？或者是 How can I improve my skill? 我要怎么样才可以让我的某一个技巧变好？或者是 How can I improve my health? 我要怎么样才可以让我的健康变得更好？都可以用 improve 这个动词。那这边要 improve 要改善的是一种研究调查，我们说的是research 这个字，哪一个研究哪一个调查呢？就是针对濒临绝种的动物的调查，所以濒临绝种的这个形容词叫做 endangered。 所以课文上说的是它被带上 GPS 追踪项圈来改善这些濒临绝种动物的研究 so they can track her and do more research.
That's right. And so how's she doing now? The article says, when the forest office last checked on her, Mulas was doing well, so they removed the collar. Hooray! So she succeeded. She's surviving in the wild. She's doing a great job. So they were checking on her. They were basically looking at her or examining her, probably using the GPS to see if there were any problems. And they said, well, there's no problems. She's doing great. She's healthy.To
check on somebody or something 代表的是检查或是查看，所以呢，我们可以说 She went to check on her kids in their room, but found out they were not there. 她去小孩的房间查看他们的状况，却发现他们根本不在那边。那课文里面呢，我们说的是，当领管处查看 Mulas 的时候发现她适应相当良好，所以就 removed her collar 移除了她的项圈。
Okay, so that's great news. She's doing very well. They removed her collar. She's living normally as an adult bear. She is the first Formosan black bear to be raised by humans and go on to successfully live alone in the wild. To go on to do something means to do something after completing something else. So what she is doing after she completed living with humans or being trained by humans is she is living on her own.To
go on to do something 代表是做完某事之后继续做另外一件事情。不过如果你看到的是 go on doing something 后面直接加上动名词的话呢，代表是继续做同一件事情。像是我们可以说 We can't go on living like this 我们不能够一直这样的生活。那课文最后 Mulas 是第一只被人类饲养之后再放回到野外的台湾黑熊。
Yeah, so it sounds like she's found success, and that's really great news, and it's hopeful news for the future for saving Formosan black bears. All right, so that's our article on Mulas, and we're glad she's doing well. That means it's time for us to go to our For You chat.
For You chat.
All right, our For You chat question for today. How should we treat animals that come into human spaces?What if they're dangerous?
Okay, I think we should just leave them where they are. But I don't know
they're
if
in
they're
human spaces?
dangerous. They might hurt people, right? So I think we should contact maybe one of the offices.
Yeah.
To ask them to come to rescue them.
Oh, to trap them or to put them to sleep and then take them somewhere else?
Right, or lead them back to where they were.
Yeah, I remember in my hometown we had bears and mountain lions and deer were not dangerous, but bears and mountain lions would sometimes come into town. So they had to take a gun that would, shoot something and will put them to sleep, and then they will take them back into the mountains and leave them there to wake up. Yeah. So, I think that's a good way to deal with them. Make sure that they, just are taken safely away. And you don't have to kill any animals. If they're not, hurting anyone, if people are acting smart, they're going to be okay. So that's what I think, and that's the end of our article. So we hope you've enjoyed this time with us. We'll see you next time for English for You. I'm Kat.
I'm Elsie. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Field. Amelia saw fields full of flowers and grass as she drove through the countryside. Official. The government official announced a new policy on education. Local. When you're traveling, it's a good idea to ask local people what they enjoy doing in their area. Release. After 10 years as a prisoner, George was released from prison. Collar. This dog is named Sparky. Look, it says so on its collar. Improve. Ben improved his guitar skills by practicing every day for months.
字汇小补帖
Cub. Ceremony. Research. Endangered.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作。活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net